there everyone, it's Val and welcome to today's Visit with Val. This will be a two-part video. The first part will be covering the YouTube Partner Program requirements and my progress towards their new goals in order to stay in the YouTube Partner Program. The second part of the video is a little harder to describe. It's basically, I'm going to be talking about the things that I love about what I do and the things that I find challenging. And there's no real short title for that, except Life with Val. Maybe, yes, I'll call it Life with Val. Now, there is about a 36-hour delay on statistics in general with YouTube, so this only covers up to the 1st of February, even though I am collecting the statistics as of the 3rd of February. In this first slide, I am covering data from February 20th, 2017 to February 1st, 2018. So these are all hours that are going to be counting towards the goal of 4,000 watch hours on YouTube. So as you can see, currently at 2,468 watch hours out of 4,000. So that means we still need 1,532 hours. That's still a sizable chunk. But let's look in the data in a little deeper detail, and we'll see that all things considered, you and I, with your help, are doing pretty dang good. This slide is covering January 17th, 2018 to February 1st, 2018. It is covering the time period since YouTube has announced its increased requirements in order to get into and remain in the YouTube Partner Program. That is 16 days. And so you can see that, well, 36.7 hours per day is what people are watching, and you guys, I want to thank you so much, because that number would not be so high without you guys taking time and doing legitimate additional viewing of my content, whether it's through directly watching the videos or using them as white noise as you go about your daily activities so you can hear what's going on in the background, or even using them as audiobooks, which is not something I ever thought about, but apparently my SRPs do make excellent audiobooks, so there you go. there's another use for Val noise. Toys. Alright, so then if we look at this, additional data, the 2nd of February to the 18th of February, that means we have 17 days left. The reason I'm ending it at 18th of February, as I mentioned earlier, there is about a 36-hour delay, and I suspect that YouTube, when February 20th rolls around, they're not going to be taking into account data or watch hours acquired on the 19th or the 20th itself, so that's why I'm cutting it off on the 18th. So basically we're halfway in between. We've had 16 days pass since the announcement, and we have 17 days left. So that means that if, by some miracle, ValsNoisyToys were to reach the goal of 4,000 watch hours by the deadline, we'd have to have 90.1 on average each day in watch hours. Yeah, I really don't think that's going to happen. I mean, it would be awesome if it did, but realistically, the best projection is to go on what's been happening in the last 16 days, and that's what I'm going to use going forward here. So, if we take a look at the current watch rate for 17 days, 36.7 average hours per day, that means that I should get about 624 more hours before the deadline is hit. So that means that if we take away 624 from the 1532 that we still need, as of, well, basically, as of the statistics I have, that means 908 watch hours we will be short of the goal for February 20th of February 2018. So this chart, I am going from February 20th, 2017 to January 16th, 2018. So again, this is all the applicable watch hours that will be contributing towards our 4,000 hour goal, watch hour goal, that I had already acquired before the announcement occurred on January 16th, 2018. And that's 1,883 watch hours. So that means we still need 2,117 watch hours from January 17th until the date that I've decided is most reasonable, which is February the 18th. And that's in order for ValsNoisyToys to stay in the YouTube Partner Program without being kicked to the curb for any period of time. In the first 16 days, we acquired 587 watch hours, which is what this chart down here is covering. And our projected 17 days is going to give us another 624, which will give us 1,211 watch hours in the 33 days. The first 16 days, we have contributed 28% towards the goal of the hours that we need to get to 4,000. Our projected is going to give us 29% towards that goal, which means between the 17th of January 2018 to the 18th of February 2018, my projection says that we will be roughly 58% towards the goal of getting 4,000 watch hours. And what that means is just wow. 28% in 16 days, 58% projected by the deadline. If we can keep this up, even though ValsNoisyToys will be out of the program temporarily, we should be able to reapply at the end of March 2018 if we can all keep doing what we're doing. And, well, I couldn't do this without your help. Thank you guys so much for all the support you've been given in the last 2 weeks. And if you guys can keep doing your part and I can keep doing my part, which is streaming it 5 days a week and having content to put up on Mondays and Tuesdays when I don't stream, then I think we'll only be out of the program for a month plus however long it takes them to actually review the application. You guys are wonderful. You're amazing. Thank you so much for everything you've been doing. And I hate to impose on you, but let's see if we can keep it up until the end of March. And see if we can get there. We're gonna get there. Just the sooner, I think the better. So let's keep it up. Let's keep striving to reach the goal. And I have every confidence we'll get there. I'd be amazed, and it would be fantastic, if we made the goal by the deadline. But realistically, it's going to be at least a month after the deadline. But even so, when you look at how many hours we will be accumulating in just a very short period of time, it's incredible. And it's all thanks to you guys. And let's tell YouTube that despite, in mid-2016, a bug deleting 73 live streams and almost killing my Fallout 4 SRP, and despite, in mid-2017, another bug making it look like VNT had no content for weeks to viewers, and that bug directly has affected the number of watch hours I've been able to accumulate. If you look at the data, this is the time period, right here, is when everybody would go to my channel and think there was nothing there. And you can see that because there's this drop. And then there's this spike right after because I made a point of letting everybody know that the content was still there and then they actually fixed it. So yeah, that's quite visible. And let's tell YouTube that despite those first two things, and now in 2018 planning to kick innocent small creators out of the YouTube Partner Program as fallout of trying to get rid of the cockroaches with a nuclear bomb. Bite Khajiit, you won't get rid of ValsNoisyToys that easily. And now onto the second part of the video. I'm going to do a little preamble. You're probably wondering why it has the number 13 there. It's not because it's bad luck, and it's not in celebration of Packrat, although he is an awesome live streamer. I was actually filling out a questionnaire by Patreon, and the tenor of their questions made me realize that it probably would be a good idea to let them know in a little more detail than they probably anticipated some information about the challenges that a live streamer slash YouTuber, I guess I should say live streamer slash video creator, like me, runs into, because I am not your average creator. The reason for that is that I have Asperger's syndrome, or in the new vernacular, autism spectrum disorder. I have been officially diagnosed. I am diagnosed as high functioning, but that doesn't mean the issues that I have are any less of a problem. And there are issues that the vast majority of creators do not run into. And I wanted to let Patreon know that. And as I was writing this, and it kept getting longer and longer, I realized you guys might be interested in this too. So if you don't want to hear me read it and expand a slight amount on what I've already written here, you can just pause the video, read the page, go ahead in the video until it gets to the next page and read that, and you don't have to listen to me blather on. But if you want to hear me talk about it, I will be reading parts of it and then possibly making additional comments. I've said most of what I wanted to say in this document, but I don't want to just throw this document up on Twitter or something and say, hey, read this. I figured it was worth doing in a video. So the question that sparked my long and rambling reply was, would you like to share anything else with us about your experiences and challenges running your creative business? And oh boy, did Val overshare. Right. When I can focus on the content, I love it. I love building and trying out new things for intros and trailers and the occasional video story elements that I use in the live streams, which I multicast to Twitch, YouTube, and Mixer. I love streaming. I find pure joy in slipping into the mind of my characters and watching their stories unfold, of being someone else, someplace else. And I really enjoy seeing the fun my chat has in joining in those stories in live streams, and the entertainment all of it gives them. And actually me too, because I have a blast when I'm doing my role-playing. These are the reasons that I keep going, the reasons that despite multiple setbacks, a lot of stress issues, and real-life derailments, that I haven't quit. I've been doing that since 2013, and I have, despite many setbacks, not quit yet. And, well, I have a metric ton of stubbornness, so I have a suspicion that it's going to take a hell of a lot more to make me quit. These are the reasons that I keep going. And one of the things that I didn't actually list here, and I should have, was that another one of those reasons, and another big reason, is my viewers. Your support. In all the ways that you have helped me and supported me and enjoyed my content. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, back to the document. Of the things that I can do, I do 100% of them. This is towards running my creative business. But I have to be very careful about what kind of things I add to my routine. The quantity, the type, and the timing. And if there's anything that I'm going to talk about in this document that you guys are curious about, or you don't quite understand what I mean, feel free to put a comment under the video in the comment section, and I'll do my best to explain further what I meant. But this document is already as long enough as it is, and of course with Asperger's you have a tendency to try to really go to town in info dump, and I was actually trying to restrain myself. There was so much more I could have expanded on that I decided that was not necessary. So, any questions, please let me know. Alright. Nota bene, many is not all in the next paragraph, to try to forestall people claiming I'm saying every other creator fits what I'm saying in the next paragraph. So when I talk about this next part, remember, this is many creators, not all creators. I see so many other creators doing the social things I can't, and few or none of the recommended things that I can and am doing. And they're succeeding and growing amazingly with little extra effort beyond creating their content, which is a lot of effort Don't get me wrong. I know it's a lot of effort. I do it myself. With little extra efforts beyond creating their content and networking. And this is from my perspective, so I admit that I probably don't see all aspects. I do see a lot of the aspects, so keep that in mind. I'll leave aside the ass-hattery that seems to be rewarded socially with channel growth, even though the actions are insensitive and callous at best, and at worst, well, that's a whole other topic. And those, I won't go into detail on that, but that is basically various events that really large creators have done in both in videos and in live streams that have negatively impacted everybody else. But they've been rewarded because their channels are bigger than ever. It doesn't seem to matter how good I try to make my work content-wise, or how many hours I spend outside of that on making teasers and trailers, video story elements, intros, outros, consistent thumbnails, tags, cards, end cards, posting stream heads-up for social media sites, research, etc. I spend a lot, and there's an asterisk there, and I'll come back to that in a moment. I spend a lot of hours every week doing things to make my work more approachable in the areas I can do it. And so far, that seems to have very little noticeable effect, of which I'm aware. Now, please remember that this document was constructed as a reply to a survey question. So, at the end of the document, I actually show a bunch of information on how I spend my time, and I will pop down there and talk about that in more detail. If you're not interested, you might want to skip forward a few minutes. So these here are the numbers of how I spend my day, and I've got it work days and days off, so some of it's by day, some of it's by week. So the first part is I spend half an hour to 1 hour per work day for pre and post stream work, and that's now been increased to 1 to 3 hours since mid-January due to the new things that I'm trying. And I won't go into detail as to what I'm trying. I've mentioned it in stream, several of the things that I've been doing, but it basically is added to my workload. Thank you, YouTube. You're great. If you didn't hear the sarcasm in my voice, I apologize. It should have been there. I spend 1 to 4 hours each work day, which adds up to 5 to 20 hours per week, on recording additional content, editing, rendering, uploading episodes, planning and preparation for new series, and other types of videos, of which this is one. I spend 1 to 2 hours every day on Twitter, Discord, and Patreon, which is my social media limit that I've imposed on myself. I spend 0 to 1 hours per workday on research, but that has been upped to 1 to 3 hours every day since mid-January. And I'm including my off days on that, and that's why I don't say work days, because I've been researching a lot. I spend 1 to 3 hours every day for real-life chores, because, well, those still need to be done, and I'm totally not highlighting what I'm trying to... Dang it. Okay, anyway. You know what I mean, right there. I spend 2 to 3 hours every evening for de-stress time. That's after I've been streaming, or after I finished doing my work behind the scenes work for the day. And I also need those 2 days a week to unplug and de-stress. If I don't have those, my stress levels continue to climb and climb, and so I have to have that time. That for me is not an option. It's non-negotiable. I need that de-stress time. And sleep. Somewhere in there I fit sleep when my freaking insomnia lets me do it. Which sometimes, actually probably, I'd say out of every week there's at least one night, and that's a good week, when I don't sleep. And that, as I've learned, is apparently something that's quite common with people with Asperger's syndrome. Obviously, I don't do the max in all things every day, but on any particular day, at least half to 2/3 of the points are at the max hour limit time listed. So basically, I am pretty much... I spend a lot of time. I mean, you can add it up if you want to, but I wanted to make sure that you understood. I'm not sitting here every day doing absolutely nothing. It's just that it's stuff that you don't really see as a viewer, because you're watching the end result, not all the work behind the scenes that goes into it. All that said, all that stuff that I talked about it doesn't matter how good I try to make my work content, content-wise, that it doesn't really seem to make a big difference. Basically, the bottom line is if people can't find my content, it doesn't matter how good it is or what I do to make it better. And in the current creator climate, and I'm looking primarily at YouTube here, the only way to get visibility is to do the things I can't do a lot of. Networking, socializing a lot with viewers, etc. That's why I tend, like for socializing, I tend to confine it. Obviously when I'm streaming, I'm socializing with you guys, but it's in a relationship that doesn't cause me a lot of stress, because I'm the one who can decide whether or not I'm going to respond to something, and I can, look at it, think about it for a minute or so, and then respond to it. So it's under my control, and that removes, I'd say, good 90% of the social stress from that situation. It's not like a normal conversation where it's give and take and much more rapid fire. But once you get out of that type of situation, then the stress level is much higher for interactions. And I have to be really careful about how much I do and where and when. And it's nothing to do with you guys, this is all me here. Right, so I don't think that the issue that I've had growing my channel is that I'm a terrible creator and somehow have failed to realize it over the past 6 years. Or that the issue is I'm a horrendous role player and failed to realize that over the past 20 years. Or that the issue is I'm a putrid storyteller and I failed to realize that over the past 40 years. It is possible that I've totally failed over the past 40 years to get any feedback indicating that I suck, but I'm pretty sure that's not the case. Pretty sure somebody somewhere that I respect would have told me by now. I've had quite a few viewers tell me the opposite. Tell me that my serious roleplay series are well done, that I do excellent characters and acting, and that I tell cool stories with them. And I'm always trying to learn and get better and tell better stories. I know I can always improve in all respects, and I try to do that. I try to learn and grow every day. I know I'm not perfect, and that serious roleplay is a niche market, so I know I've already got a smaller group of viewers that I'm potentially appealing to. But I'm pretty sure if the primary issue was that I was just bad at telling stories, I'd have some indication of that by now, more than just slow growth. I'd have no growth or negative growth. But over time, the trend has always been upward, albeit very slowly. At the times I can keep up a consistent schedule, the growth is actually quite decent. Pre-late 2016, when I had 3.5k watch hours on YouTube for the year, and I was doing quite well for me, which is one of the reasons that spurred me into my ill-fated attempt to try to do the social and networking things in order to accelerate the growth. And I did that over a 3-month period. I think it was August, September, October-ish, and a bit into November of 2016. And note that while I was doing those social things, they did in fact accelerate the growth of all my platforms, not just YouTube, but Twitch and Mixer. But that's not the only thing that grew. My stress also grew, which was the issue that ended that particular attempt. I fortunately recognized that I was getting perilously close to burning myself out on streaming and on doing anything to do with creative video work, and I managed to pull back before I reached the total failure point. It's very discouraging at times, because the easy answer for the majority of creators is network, network, network. That's unavailable to me except in very small amounts that I have to monitor, unless I want to burn out and end up quitting. And I don't want to burn out and I don't want to quit. It doesn't help when, despite all that I'm doing, one of the platforms, YouTube, decides to take away what small progress trophy I've managed to achieve there, the partner program, for reasons unrelated to my activities on the platform. Since 16th of January, I've been doing additional research. I've been trying changes to my YouTube presentation, etc., to try to prevent being kicked to the curb from the partner program by basically trying to retain new people that come along and look at my channel. So all the onus to help me out isn't all my current viewers. That I'm trying things. I've been doing a lot of research and collected a lot of tips that I think can actually apply to me, and I'm trying most of them. About half of them I was already doing, so I'm not putting a whole bunch of new stuff in. I'd say that for any particular video series, there's about a total of about 10 tips, and I was already doing 5 of those things already. Let's see. This means the channel, it's going to need to make up 2K watch hours in under 30 days. Actually, it's 33 days, but 30 days close enough. It's an impossible task, you might think, but my viewers are stepping up and watching more than usual in legitimate ways. And I have been trying to emphasize all along, please watch in legitimate ways. Thanks to them, I might make 50% of the goal by the 20th of February deadline if current rates continue, i.e. one of the 2K that I need to make the total of 4K. So, with luck, I'll be able to reapply within a month of being booted. That's my reasonable expectation. My fantastical expectation is that somehow all these additional things that I've been doing for my channel will retain more viewers, new viewers, and we'll do that a lot sooner, but we'll see. But my viewers are awesome people, and I can't stress that enough. You guys, I love you. You're wonderful. As an aside, this whole YouTube thing has resulted in me finding out that my SRP series make excellent audiobooks. So, that's pretty cool. And I also wanted to emphasize, it's not the ad money for the YouTube Partner Program that I'm upset about losing. I don't run ads. I've never run ads, and I don't plan to run ads. I say that I might do a survey sometime when I have a lot more people who are watching on a regular basis, so I have a bigger pool to pull information from and ask you what you guys think. Because I have heard the occasional comment in the past that they would actually like me to put ads on my channel because that's the only way that they're able to contribute, because they don't use social media and they can't afford to become a patron. And so that's the only reason I'm considering it, because I've had people ask me if I would put them on, but I'm not sure how big of a proportion that is of my viewer base. So it's not, the whole YouTube partnership thing is not about the ad money. It's the additional resources that I'm going to be losing, the support and the chat tools, sponsor and super chat, that I was offering to my viewers. Those are the things I'm upset about losing. And the resources and support refers to what YouTube provides to creators. And so I just wanted to add, thanks YouTube! Really needed more stress in my life when I'm still trying to get back to where I was over a year later, since my ill-fated late 2016 attempt to be a, quote, regular type of streamer. So I'm left foraging around, trying to find and figure out ways to increase my visibility without increasing my stress. That's been very difficult. I have to find new solutions to a problem 99% of creators don't have, i.e. Asperger's syndrome, autism spectrum disorder. I wish there was a place I could use as a resource to help me. Patreon had asked some questions about what resources I tend to peruse and use. But if there is a place, I haven't found it yet. And it's not for a lack of looking. The vast majority of the resources I do find all hinge on doing more of the various types of social activities / networking. I'm already doing the maximum that I can do of that without overflowing my social stress cup. It's a very, very tiny cup. It's like if you normally drink a liter of water a day and that liter is your social cup, it's that liter bottle. Mine's a little shot glass. It fills up very fast. And it also empties very slowly. So think of it as a shot glass full of molasses. So I have to throw the majority of those tips and suggestions that I come across aside and only try out the parts that don't rely on social activities. I don't make very much at all, money-wise, being so small, so hiring someone to do the parts I'm unable to do is not an option. Something I didn't mention in the document, but is also true, is I also have a hard time flogging my stuff and saying, hey, support me with cash, because I'm aware so many people are totally broke, and I really feel guilty saying, you know, I need help, because, well, you guys need help too, so it's really kind of rude of me, I think, to do that. But on the other hand, if I don't, then there's things that I need to pay for if I want to continue what I'm doing. And it's thanks to my few steadfast and fabulous patrons on Patreon that I have been able to afford to pay for some of the extra things I need to keep doing what I'm doing right now. Over 90% of the cost is absorbed by our household income, which is not ample enough for everything. And without those patrons, there are features like my multicasting. I wouldn't be able to afford to multicast because I have an account with a Restream provider, Switchboard Live, and they are wonderful. I've been with them. This will be the 3rd year now. I'll be renewing in the next month, actually. And that's all being paid for by my Patreons because I carefully hoard that money that I get every month. And then when the bills come around, the yearly bills, that's what it goes on. And yeah, I couldn't multicast without it. And without my patrons. So a big shout out to my fabulous patrons. You may be few, but you're mighty, and I love you so very much for helping me. So in the end, I keep coming back to the fact that I just have to hope that someday, somehow, I'll get that bit of luck that some creators get to help them over the invisibility of being a smaller creator. Things like a shout out by a larger creator at just the right time, that video that goes viral, etc. Good luck, however, is not something for which I'm known. Bad, on the other hand. Flares, anyone? See how many people get that reference. I suspect you can tell that I'm currently in one of my frustrated periods. I never react well to being punished for something that someone else has done, and I'm getting overstressed by the past few weeks, which is one of the reasons that I didn't stream yesterday, because I really needed a de-stress day. And I was worried about this going into it, that I would have to be careful and take the occasional day of de-stress extra in order to keep up as best I can my end of our mutual bargain in order to meet the newly imposed YouTube Partner Program requirements. And I'm now worried I might have to cut back again the additional things I've added to try to meet YouTube's moved goalposts, because it is causing me too much additional stress. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see if the occasional de-stress day will be enough to counteract it. I'm keeping a very close eye on my stress level. I'm not going to just stop keeping up my end of the bargain. That's not what I'm getting at here. What I'm saying is that I'm going to still do my utmost to continue providing you with something new to watch every day, but there will be the occasional day when I just can't do it, and I have to de-stress by basically sort of disconnecting and doing anything but anything related to streaming or preparation or research or anything. I have to let my stress cup empty so that I can keep going and keep up this pace, and that is one of the reasons that I'm not streaming in 4-hour chunks anymore for the time being. We'll see how it goes in the future. We'll play it by ear, but I have been doing between an hour and an hour and a half, the 5 stream days a week, because I knew that even though I do enjoy the streaming, and it's the easiest and most enjoyable part of what I do, it does have a small stress component to it, which is, it's small compared to the other social things, but it is still there, and I have to keep a very close eye on the stress. So I'm sorry if some of what I talked about that was in the document and what I expanded on was a little bit ranty, not severely ranty. I know I can be much more. And I hope that somewhere in what I've been talking about will actually be of use or of interest to you guys. Some of this is stuff that I've mentioned in little bits in live streams, usually in response to questions, but some of it is stuff that I know that I haven't really talked about. I want to summarize it by saying I know that my channel is focused on a niche type of content, serious roleplay using games as a medium. And so I know that there's a smaller pool of viewers who could potentially watch my channel. But the expectation that I've seen growing over the last, or since 2013, over the last 5 years. I keep thinking I'm in year 6, but it's year 5. The expectation has been getting more and more and more that the streamers and the video, or like, you know, video producers for YouTube, those type of things, is that they're going to spend a lot more time interacting with their viewers, and viewers will come with that expectation, and that expectation has increased in the last 5 years. And that's one of the things that I can't do very much of. So it's not something I can change. And from time to time, I will look at the changing landscape and see how it's shifting more and more away from what I'm able to do. And to be quite honest, with the way that Twitch has set up for new people to, or for smaller streamers to be discovered, and the way that YouTube is going with burying smaller creators under the pile of the bigger channels, it's getting harder and harder to be noticed without doing ass-hattery things. And I'm sure you know the sort of things I'm referring to. And I'm not going to resort to those because, well, that's not my nature. I'm not an asshat. And I would never do something that would hurt people just to get clicks, just to get views, just to get people watching me. Because I try to treat people the way that I would like to be treated. But in the current climate, the only way to get noticed is by being an asshat, by being lucky and getting something of yours in the public eye in a way that people realize that you exist. And that's highly unlikely. I've got bad luck. So, actually, I'm really starting to ramble here. But I hope you found this video interesting. I'm aware the second part of the video has been much longer than the first part. And I think I will tie things up in a neat bow and say that ValsNoisyToys is not going anywhere. I'm still going to keep doing everything that I have been doing, and I'll do my best to be there and produce content that you guys enjoy and want to watch. So, thank you for listening to all through this video if you've reached this point. And I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you again in the stream sometime. You take care now. Bye.